Welcome to the December show of Hempfield Happenings. I'm Katie Yoder.
And I'm Paige Gruber, and we'll be your host for this month's show.
Lately, Paige and I, along with our fellow students, have noticed the amount of incredible women surrounding us in our community.
Throughout history, women often did not get the credit they deserve for the ways in which they have perpetuated positive change.
Our class wanted to change this, and that's why we devoted an entire show to the influential women around us.
In this show, we talk about women of all ages. One young woman as young as 8 years old uses her talents to help those around her.
We will also look at a local filmmaker who has made a name for herself as one of the very few women in her industry.
We cannot wait to share these stories and many more in this episode of Hempfield Happenings made by all female reporters. We hope you enjoy our show on influential women.
Like many sports, gymnastics is very time-consuming and takes a lot of dedication. Here is Larissa Schaefer on how Grace Kramer proves that dedication at gymnastics and school.
Strength, courage, and determination are three of many components it takes to be a gymnast. A senior at our very own Hempfield High School has revolved her whole life around the sport. Grace Kramer is a 17-year-old athlete that manages her time to keep up with her studies and gymnastics.
I come in here from 7 to 11, and then I go into school at 12, and then I stay there for the rest of the day.
Her schedule has been difficult every year. We have many meetings with the counselors who try to make things work out with her schedule.
I've gotten used to it over the years, just like time management, but it was hard at first, and especially when I was younger, I would go to school the whole day and then come to practice from 3:30 to 7:30, so it got hard to do that like with homework after practice, but now that I do half day, it's a lot easier.
The Junior Olympic program for gymnastics is broken up into 10 different levels, starting with level 1 as a beginner and moving up each level based on skill.
In level 9, which was 8th grade, I made it to nationals, and then this year, or like last season, I was able to accomplish my goal of going to JO Nationals. It's like the top meet you can make it to at our level, so it's like where girls from all over the country go to compete. Everyone thinks of gymnastics as being physically tough, but I think it's more you have to be mentally tough.
I think it takes a driven person to be in that sport, and she is, but sometimes I wish she would be a little bit more relaxed and enjoy things. Gymnastics, it's very individual. It's all just her on the beam or her on the bars, and it's her score. I think that's sometimes hard. Like she's missed out on some of the things about being a kid because of gymnastics.
A lot of gymnasts struggle with mental blocks, so getting through trying to make yourself go for a skill that's scary and nerves at a meet, I think it takes a lot of mental toughness.
I knew that this became her passion because she was willing to sacrifice parts of her social life, and she was willing to do anything to make it work out.
It's definitely been harder, since I'm not at school the whole day, it's definitely been harder to make friends at school, but I've learned how to balance it.
Dad and I are very proud of everything she's accomplished. We've just watched her grow up into an amazing young woman, and we're very proud.
Grace risks a normal high school life and free time to continue what she loves and to accomplish her goals. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Larissa Schaefer.
Man, Paige, I don't know about you, but after watching that, I feel like I need to hit the gym.
Me too. Katie Yoder investigated how a cultural tradition led a Hempfield student to international success.
Here at Hempfield High School, students are often recognized for their accomplishments in and outside of the classroom. However, some of these more unique accomplishments often go overlooked. High school senior Autumn Zodette has been participating in traditional German dancing since she was 2 years old. And in 2017, she was named the best German dancer in North America.
This is my trophy that I won in 2017 for the Gauverband North America Jugendinsel. Basically, Gaufest is a conference of a bunch of smaller German clubs that kind of brings them together once every 2 years. So there's music competitions, there's card playing competitions, and then there's also dance competitions, which is primarily what I do.
But for Autumn and her family, German dancing means more than just a competition.
My grandfather is an immigrant from Germany, so it was important for him that I started dancing and immersing myself in the culture when I was little. He came over here with literally nothing, didn't speak any English, and he found a lot of comfort in the German club, being he could go and he could speak the language he was comfortable with.
Later on, Autumn was able to travel to Germany to compete in another dance competition. Her grandfather accompanied her and was able to reunite with family and his native country.
I was very excited because I think she's the first one in the Liederkranz to win that at her age group, yeah. She's just a wonderful kid.
Congratulations to Autumn and her family, and best of luck in future competitions. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Katie Yoder.
I don't know if I could wear the dresses that they wear, but she is really good at what she does.
I couldn't agree more. Muscular dystrophy is a disease in which muscles become weak with time and form masses. Third grader Ainsley Ott decided to raise money for this cause in a very creative way, and Ava Bear went to discover how.
Muscular dystrophy is a disease that causes progressive weakness in the muscles. It creates problems with walking or even swallowing. I spoke to third grader Ainsley Ott on how she raised money for the cause. The reason Ainsley began raising money is for her friend Sammy, who has a certain kind of muscular dystrophy called limb girdle.
We just met because our sisters played basketball games with each other, and we just became friends.
When Ainsley began making bracelets and had a family member offer to buy one, she decided to find a more efficient way to sell them.
As she made more and more bracelets, she probably made about 100. And she said, Mom, I want to set up a stand in front of our house so maybe my friends and our neighbors can come and buy my bracelets, kind of like a lemonade stand. And so she did that, and I posted it on Facebook the day before her stand was going to go up that she was having this stand. And a lot of friends, the kids' teachers, neighbors, family members came out and bought bracelets from her.
Not only was Ainsley raising money to find a cure, but other little girls noticed what Ainsley was doing and wanted to learn how to make bracelets as well. So she taught them, bringing in even more profit for Sammy's disease.
So people would bring in Ainsley to $150, oh, I sold some bracelets, here's more money. So I mean, she really did raise a lot of money.
After everything Ainsley did to bring in profit, an astonishing $3,000 was made. But she only made these bracelets for one reason.
So he can find a care for limb girdle muscular dystrophy.
And from Hempfield Happenings, I'm Ava Bear.
In honor of this month's show, we decided to ask our fellow classmates who their favorite female superhero is. What about you, Paige? Who's your favorite?
I would have to say that my favorite is Supergirl.
Supergirl's pretty cool, but I think Wonder Woman is better.
She is pretty cool too.
Let's see what everyone else had to say.
It was a tight race, but Wonder Woman came out on top.
Last month, I investigated a brand new club here at Hempfield. It's by girls and for girls, and it's called Sisterhood.
For this month's episode of Hempfield Happenings, we decided to follow up with the student founder along with others involved to see how the club is progressing.
I'm here with some representatives of the Sisterhood Club here at the high school. These women made it their mission this school year to change the culture of the female student body. And I think what I want to hear most from all of you is why you chose to start this club. And Bella, I know you were the official student founder here, so maybe we'll start with you.
Yeah, so thank you, Katie. So it started from really a negative experience at school softball. It then evolved from there, and it was the child of a ranting session in Dr. DaCosta's office. So it went from there. We helped to choose a couple core group of really strong female leaders like yourself and like Annie over here, and it moved from there. And it's really been amazing ever since. It's all about contributing to the female culture here at Hempfield, dissolving this unnecessary competition between females, and really just making it a positive place.
That's fantastic. So can you tell me a little bit about that negative experience that you had?
Yeah, so it's really small, but I felt like it should be addressed. Last season, a couple of the girls on the team had really high batting averages, and one of my really good friends was actually jealous about it. So I didn't know how to come about it. She came up to me. She told me that I was being selfish and I was being rude because I was so-called bragging about my batting average, which sucked because if one is hitting well, then it's doing the team a favor and winning games. So I really took that to heart. I compartmentalized it, and I figured out what to do next, and that was through Sisterhood and the ranting session.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I love that. So Dr. DaCosta, tell me about your experience with all of this.
Well, I think in my role as a school counselor, we're always looking for, processing through the things that happen to us and figuring out the things that we have control over and how we can, most positively respond or make the most out of a situation. When Bella and I's discussion, just talking about, the level of competition that just occurs between females, adults, and teenagers, and how sometimes it's really hard to be, a cheerleader for other women because somehow that makes us feel smaller or inadequate. So we're just looking at what are the things that we can control at Hempfield? What can we do to try to change that climate and culture here of how females interact with each other and support each other, and just work on, being better women.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Annie, I'm going to bump to you, and I know that you are part of this leadership team and you're also a member of the general club. So tell me some of the activities or events that you guys have taken part of.
Yeah, every Monday we have general meetings. So sometimes in a meeting we'll have a speaker come in, a female speaker, who will just talk and just kind of inspire us. We also have small group discussions where all the girls come together in small groups and just talk about what's going on in the school. We usually have some discussion questions which helps spur conversation. Right now we're doing this kind of donation drive for Clare House, which is an organization that helps young homeless mothers. So yeah, I feel we've done a lot of outreach and stuff, and I feel it's just, it's good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell me what's been most impactful for you personally.
Well, I personally really like the small group discussions because it just brings together these different girls that I feel you wouldn't usually have talked to throughout your school day or in your classes, and it really helps bring us together and just forget about school and everything, just talk just kind of rant and stuff. So yeah, it's really fun.
I love that idea though, kind of breaking down these barriers between different friend groups or whatever it might be, and meeting girls that you never would have otherwise met. That's awesome. So Bella, I'll jump back to you and tell me, I know that you guys have made a lot of progress since we last talked about this club. So is this going in the way you want it to go? Has it gained more or less momentum than you thought it would? Maybe just tell me a little bit about that.
I definitely think it is going in the direction that I would love it to go. I think with anything you do, there's more momentum that can be picked up. So I've actually started writing out the meetings in Google Doc form, and I kind of call it my curriculum. So I've been really like expanding on these meetings and writing them down, and I hope to take these this curriculum to other schools, and other local schools in the area, to kind of spread like the sisterhood mission and vision that we saw here at the very start at Hempfield.
That's fantastic. Wow, I love that. And I'll bump to you now, and I think one of my other questions would just be, what is the biggest, you guys kind of already touched on this a little bit, but what's the biggest thing you hope that girls take out of this experience and this influence from the club?
I think, if anything, I wanted to just speak into our sense of identity, having self-confidence, being able to be happy for other people's successes and be able to cheer other people on. Taking on leadership roles. Like, a lot of these are themes that we are uncovering, we're focused on a different theme each month. But we really wanted to just kind of help to shape the identity of women to just be more confident, competent, world changers, really.
Right, so maybe building ourselves up so that we can then build others up along with us.
Absolutely.
Great. So Annie, I'll finally bump back to you. So tell me some of the events that you have planned for the future, or I guess we can really come to any of you guys for that as well.
Well, I know Bella was talking about, like she said, like expanding it to other schools, because like I feel like it's done such an amazing job here, like great turnout and like all these like different girls coming together and participating. So hopefully expanding to other schools in the future, I feel like is a big goal for us.
That'd be awesome, yeah. I also think it's important to reach the youth underneath the high school and middle schools. So I know we've done a Girls on the Run event in the past where we went and cheered for them on their 5K. But I would really love to see us come together, get more donations, get volunteering hours in, and really help the younger generations. Because I know, which was really shocking for me, and one of the factors going into this club is that young girls' confidence peaks at age 9, which was really shocking for me, and I would like to build that up. Starting at elementary up through high school.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, is there anything else you guys want to add?
Join Sisterhood.
Yes, come to Sisterhood. Great. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Sarah Vanderlaan reports on the viewpoint of a local filmmaker who began telling stories at a young age.
Camera more like this. So.
Film is competitive as is. But what is it like to be a woman in film?
So, it's funny you mention the word business, because you do have to intersect with business, but I think at my heart I'm an artist. When I was probably about your age or a little bit older, I wanted to find my passion. I went on a quest, almost a vision quest. Tried radio, tried TV, had a TV job, and I was getting closer and closer. But one day, we took out a short, a 16 millimeter camera to shoot a short film, and on that day, it was like falling in love.
Haverstick Films is an independent company run by Mary.
I founded this company with Michelle Mercure, who is the audio portion of the program here, and I'm the visual artist and the storyteller. And from that point forward, we just decided we were going to make it happen. So for a while, we did a lot of local commercials and things like that. Then it went full circle because I ultimately realized I got into this to tell stories.
Mary has worked with a variety of well-known actors and actresses, such as Liam Neeson, Marcia Gay Harden, and Marian Seldes. She has also produced projects titled Home, The Last Horseman of New York, and Shades of Black.
What I love about this work is no 2 days are alike, right? You wake up and some days you might be at your word processor and laptop, other days you're in your editing chair, other days you're schlepping a camera up to New York City, and on the few amazing days of my life, I've been, able to direct an Oscar-winning actress.
When Mary started out, she was faced with many challenges.
Back then, film wasn't something you could just go do, especially as a woman. But it felt like something far away in Hollywood. There weren't all these indie films. There weren't these cameras that are digital that are, right there to use. It was complicated. It was tough to be one of the only women out there, and it was hard to get respect. It is male-dominated, but it's really, really improving lately. I think there are a lot of women in high places now in Hollywood, and actresses in particular have really pushed the envelope and opened the door for so many of us. But ultimately, as a female director, you're going to have to fight a little harder.
Mary's passion for storytelling had its challenges, but it has only shaped her into the person she is today.
I would say to other young women who want to get involved in this industry that you are starting at a great time, and there's going to be doors opening for you. So you're going to have to be ready to defend your choices and to stick up for yourself. and have confidence. And make sure you're treated as you should be.
Whether Mary is making feature films, commercials, or other special projects, her passion has influenced the lives around her. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Sarah Vanderlaan.
Many refugee women are forced to flee their countries every year. But the Lancaster Stroopie Company provides meaningful employment to these women to help them start fresh here in Lancaster County.
Lancaster County is considered home to many refugee women, but for some, home starts here at the Lancaster Sweet Shop.
What's so special about this sweet shop is that it's home to the Stroopie Company, which offers meaningful employment to refugee women.
So our mission is just to be able to provide employment to anybody who would like to work, any woman who would like to work.
According to the Lancaster Stroopie Company, there are currently 60 million refugees worldwide who have been forced to flee their country due to war, drought, and natural disaster. Each year, our beautiful city of Lancaster invites approximately 1,000 refugees to get reestablished in our area.
We have like an open hiring policy where it's not a prerequisite that you know English or that you have like job experience, and then we work at those things one job.
One goal of the Stroopie Company is to be used as a springboard for these women to leap into other occupations after acclimating the culture and language. To help achieve this goal, refugee employees are offered an on-job English class taught by a certified ESL teacher.
It's truly, truly our privilege, and we need something awesome to make, and Stroopies are an awesome thing to make, but the heartbeat of our company is how we can empower the women that are working to make them. So.
It is with the open arms of the Stroopie Company that helps refugee women get reestablished in Lancaster County. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Hannah Morris.
Wow, I really could not think of any better way for women to support other women.
Honestly, neither can I. Morgan Minnick took a look into the backstory of one of our science teachers in order to get the story of how she escaped the war in Bosnia.
It can be either round or wrinkled.
Mrs. Breitkreutz, a teacher here at Hempfield High School, had to overcome many difficulties in order to get where she is today.
Nella Breitkreutz grew up in Sarajevo, Bosnia, and was in her third year of medical school when the war in Bosnia started.
One morning, as I was eating breakfast, there was a message on the radio not to leave house because they were shooting downtown.
Her and her family were house-ridden for days. Their only means of information was the television and radio.
Eventually, one morning, we came out the house, and maybe 100 feet away, there was a house on fire. It was burning. Our house had a couple of bullet holes, and my dad then decided to send my sister and I away.
The plan was to escape to the airport in the back of her father's ambulance.
I'll never forget my sister and I under that blanket, holding each other's hands and thinking, well, hopefully we'll get there. We were very scared, actually, because that was the first time in my life where I thought, my father was this big, humongous man. He was 6'4", and he was a really big man, very powerful man. And it was the first time in my life where I realized, if they find us, there's nothing he can do. He does not have a gun. And so it was very scary. Luckily, we made it to the airport, and the airplane we were supposed to board was completely full. And I remember my dad saying, just get in any airplane, just fly out of here.
Nella, along with her twin sister, were able to board a plane, and they eventually made it to Germany, where their aunt was living at the time.
Came there, didn't speak a word of German, so started learning the language. And then after a year of learning the language, we attended nursing school.
Nella graduated nursing school, and in 1997, her visa expired, and she was being sent back home.
So I was going back to an area with a Serbian name where Serbians were hated, pretty much. So it wasn't the best combination. So I applied for a special program for refugees to come here to the United States, and I luckily eventually was allowed to come here with a refugee status.
After a year of working in a nursing home, Nella attended Millersville University, where she had to overcome many challenges.
My sister and I went through all the classes together, went through all of the, open the dictionary and translate decrease and increase and common denominator. What is that? Let's look it up first, and then let's study what it actually is. So I don't think I had like literally a minute of time where I did not study or did not learn how to type, and I had to make a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so what is a PowerPoint presentation, first of all? How do you do that? So figuring things out, or using Excel for the first time. You know, everybody already knew how to do that because you learned it in school here. I haven't even used computer before I came here. So it took me tremendously a lot of time to figure everything out, to learn everything, how to do it. And then language on top of that.
After graduating from Millersville University, Nella moved to North Carolina, where she got her first job as a teacher. However, in 2003, her father passed away from cancer.
It was so difficult that I realized I'm so far away from my sister. She was in Lancaster, I was in Charlotte. We didn't see each other much. And my husband and I literally, at the end of the summer, decided we'll pack everything up, we'll quit our jobs, and we'll come back to Lancaster just to be closer.
After moving back to Lancaster, Nella got a job at Hempfield, where she has been teaching students biology ever since.
So you really need to understand what's going on to be able to do that, okay?
Mrs. B, she is just an amazing teacher. She treats her students as her own kids. She wants everyone to do the best in her classes. If you ever have trouble with something, she's always there to help you with anything. That's the big thing that I love about Mrs. B.
Mrs. Breitkreutz story has inspired some of her students.
It did inspire me, her background story of how she went through the struggles of the Civil War in Bosnia, how they had to be in the back of an ambulance and had to go to the United States. It's just very inspiring, and I look at her as a role model.
Mrs. Breitkreutz past has taught her to work hard, and she uses her experience to inspire her students.
From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Morgan Minnick.
The first terms I would like you to know is the term wild type. Wild type simply means common in nature.
Thanks for sticking with us for our show this month.
We hope you were impacted by these amazing stories just as much as we were.
Be sure to tune in for next month's episode of Hempfield Happenings.
And to all the little girls watching at home, remember that your potential is truly unlimited.
For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Paige Gruber.
And I'm Katie Yoder.